Kau merupakan sayap sang garuda yang berlandaskan kepada Pancasila. Integritas mengabdi, profesional melayani, bersama LPDP membangun negeri. Langkahkan kaki dengan pasti tanpa ragu, nama tanah air Indonesia. Bela semangatmu, pimpin hatimu, pemimpin yang dinanti bumi pertiwi. Hai bumi, dengarkan cerita kami, Satria cendekia siap berkarya, beragam peran satu tujuan, bersinergi membangun Indonesia, berkeadilan berdemokrasi, menjadi bangsa yang terus berinovasi, melahirkan pemimpin masa depan, raih Indonesia gemilang. Majulah, semangatnya jangan. Janji setia
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please return to your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, now we invite the chief organizer of this seminar to deliver a brief report regarding the objective, preparation, and overall concept of today's event. We kindly invite Tirta Panduwinata to come forward and deliver the report. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, and may peace be upon to us all. What a beautiful morning it is today, bright skies and warm smile for our dearest colleagues accompany us as we begin this meaningful event. We are deeply honored by the presence of Professor Heram Ting, our exceptional speaker, President of Responsible Borneo, Reborn, and proudly listed among the top 2% were scientists in business and marketing from Malaysia. We are also delighted to be joined by Professor Mamdouh Mahmada Hanafi, head of the doctoral program in Management Science, Faculty of Business, Universitas Gadjah Mada. I would also like to extend my highest regard Mas Manda Juniawan Suharto, Vice Head of LPGP UGM community, as well as the entire leadership team, especially Mbak Ayu, Head of the Research and Knowledge Division. And of course, I warmly welcome to all participants present here today, but in on-site and in online. All praise God Almighty. After a series of productive discussion and joyful collaboration among all involved parties, we are grateful to successfully hold the International Seminar and Publication Forum 2025. This event is a result of amongst partnership between the LPDP UGM community as the Master of Science and the Master of Science and Doctoral Program Faculty of Business, Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Gadjah Mada, conducted smoothly and without obstacle. It is a great honor for me, on behalf of organizing committee, to deliver this report. This seminar carries the theme Navigating Global Research Impact from Local Relevance to Scopus Q1 publications, which reflect our shared commitment to improving the quality and the relevance of academic research, not only in the national level, but also within the global academic landscape. We are especially honored to welcome Professor Hairam Ting, a distinguished scholar who will share deep insight on impactful research practices, international collaboration, and strategies for publishing in top-tier journals. This seminar is attended by more than 225 participants, but on site and via online in Zoom meeting and YouTube streaming. The high level of this enthusiasm from our audience prove that this theme is timely, relevant, and deserving of our collective attention. On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to all those who have supported this event, especially the leadership of FEB UGM, our keynote speaker, the organizing team, and of course, all the participants who have contributed to the success of this forum. We sincerely hope that this event for this forum can inspire new collaboration, encourage research excellence, and become a meaningful starting point for impactful academic publication and use the global research from the local relevance. This is in line with the philosophical motto of Universitas Gadjah Mada, locally rooted, globally respected. That concludes for my report. Thank you for your kind attention and your participation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Enjoy the seminar, and may this event bring great benefit to us all.
Thank you so much for the event report. Up next, we will hear the welcoming remarks from the head of Kelurahan LPDP Universitas Gadjah Mada that will be represented by the vice of Kelurahan LPDP Universitas Gadjah Mada. We respectfully invite Manda Juniawan Suharto to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you so much for this time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Professor Hairam Ting from Malaysia. Welcome, Prof, in Jakarta and enjoy it. And this Honorable Professor Dr. Mamdu Hamdahanabi, MBA, as the head of doctoral program in Management Science, Faculty of Economic and Business, Gadjah Mada University, and the honorable members of the International Conference Committee who have worked tirelessly, and the honorable conference participants who are so amazing. First of all, we express our deepest gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His grace and guidance, enabling us to gather this morning in a good health to attending the inaugural international conference organized by Kelurahan LPDP Gajah Mada University. Peace and blessing be given to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided humanity towards the path of truth. On behalf of the Kelurahan LPDP Gajah Mada University, I am warmly welcome all the participants to this historic event. This conference marks the first step for the Kelurahan Gajah Mada University in hosting an international academic forum, reflecting our commitment to advancing research and innovation among students. Thus, this event is not merely a ceremonial occasion, but rather a strategic platform for collaboration, idea exchange, and groundbreaking contribution that will shape the future of global research. So sorry. Okay. I will continue. We firmly believe that students are not only learners, but also creators of knowledge recognized worldwide. Therefore, though this conference, we encourage you to hone your skill in creating high quality academic papers, particularly for publication in top Q1 journals, and to confidently present impactful and original work on international stage. Furthermore, today you have the opportunity to interact directly with inspiring figure from Haddonting. Please take the advantage all the insight the share in this seminar session, which will enrich your perspective as an innovative academic. And in closing, I just want to say thank you so much for Miss Professor Haranting, Professor Dr. Mamdu, and entire Ganesh team, and all the participants to their dedication in making this history even possible. Let us unite in igniting the spirit of innovation and creating works that inspiring the world. Enough for me, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the welcome remarks. Honorable distinguished speaker, ladies and gentlemen, in this opening ceremony, we are very honored to have the present of the head of doctoral program in Management Science, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Gadjah Mada. Please welcome Professor Dr. Mamduh Mahmada Hanafi, MBA, to give the opening remarks and lead the opening ceremony.
Hello, good morning everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This morning, today we're going to have a special and exciting session. We will have a guest lecture from Professor Hiram Ting. Do I spell it correctly, Hiram Ting? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. From Professor Hiram Ting. And then he has very impressive experience, research and publication experience. So I think we're going to learn a lot from him. The today's event is organized by Kelurahan LPDP. Something new to me, Kelurahan LPDP. And then I think most of the participants here is master student. Am I correct? Some doctoral, master and doctoral, but probably most of them master. Yeah. But let me introduce Professor Hiram and the audience here. Here we have MD, we call it MD, Magister Science and Doctor in FEP, in Faculty of Economics and Business. And then we have 6 program study. We have 3 program study in master level. We have Master of Science in Economics, Master of Science in Accounting, Master of Science in Management. And then we have 3 PhD program here. We have PhD program in Economics, PhD program in Accounting, and PhD program in Management. So we have 6 program study here. And then the master program here are oriented toward research and publication, unlike the MBA, for example. MBA, they have more practical orientation. But here we have research orientation. The PhD level, okay, that's also for sure. That's PhD research orientation program. Okay, and then I believe Professor Hiram yesterday participated in Karma ITEP conference. And then today, Professor Hiram moved to other research oriented program. Yesterday, our journal, they held the conference. Today, the program study. The school has both this event. So I think without further ado, I believe that we're going to learn a lot from Professor Hiram Ting. We're going to benefit a lot. Hopefully we're going to get inspired by his research and his work. So thank you very much, Professor Hiram. Thank you very much for the organizer. And should I open this officially? Okay, so I officially open this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Mabdu. Please remain on stage. We would like to have this opportunity for a group photo session, and we will give the souvenir and certificate to our keynote speaker. And to join with Professor Mabdu, please kindly be invited, Professor Dr. Hiram Tings, to receive the souvenir and certificate, and we will take the photo together.
Tunggu dulu. Nanti aku yang sebelah kiri kan.
Okay, so now we continue the photo session with all of the participants of the seminar who are joining in person, virtually, and in person. Yes. For online participants, please turn on your camera to take a picture together. And for offline participants, now we all have the photographers ready. Please for all the participants to stand up together. I'm expecting all of you to show your best smile. Ready to capture? In the count of three, we have to big smile with saying cheese. 1, 2, 3. Cheers! One more time, we give our thumbs up together. Okay. In the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. For Professor Mamdu and Professor Hiram, kindly sit on the chair that prepared by the committee.
Mas, bayarnya cuma sebelah dapat bayar. Sebelah kiri. Kok itu bayar di kursi? Apa nama Ustaz? Apa?
Honorable Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we will transition to the main agenda of our seminar. Allow me to hand over this session to our moderator, Riana Ekawati, who will introduce today's distinguished speaker and guide us through the presentation and discussion. Riana Ekawati, usually called Aya, is a graduate student in environmental science at Universitas Gadjah Mada. Aya is wisely professional fellow for sustainable development in United States, a former keynote speaker at national forum hosted by institutions such as the Ministry of Education and USAID, a presenter at international conference including Sustain in Japan. Currently, Aya is an active member of the Community Engagement and Partnership Division of Kelurahan LPDB Universitas Gadjah Mada and has contributed to several international academic events, including the 5th Asian Transdisciplinary CARS Conference and summer course on sustainable CARS management. So please welcome Riana Ekawati. The floor is yours.
Okay.
Thank you so much, AMC, for the introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, are you ready for our main part of this event?
Ready.
I cannot hear your voice. Are you ready, guys?
Yeah.
One more, ready? Okay, we know that in an era of rapidly evolving science and technology, research and publication have become key indicators of a country's development alongside its economic and social progress. While much of our research is highly relevant to local issues, it still faces challenges in gaining international recognition. So, how do we bridge the gap between local relevance and global visibility? That's exactly what will be explored today. Our distinguished speaker will share with us not only conceptual insight, but also practical strategies in navigating global research impact from local relevance to Scopus Q1 publication. As his full list of achievement is incredibly extensive, so allow me to keep the introduction brief. Our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Hiram Ting, currently he serves in several key roles. President of Responsible Borneo or Reborn, Editor-in-Chief of Young Consumer Web of Science Scopus Q1, adjunct professor at Taylor's University Malaysia, ambassador for Emerald Publishing in East Asia, and a panel member of tourism expert at UN Tourism. In addition, he holds multiple editor board in Scopus and SCA Index Journal, and has been ranked among the world's top 2% scientists in business, management, and marketing by Stanford University and Elsevier. With over 19,500 citations, Professor Hiram stands as one of the most respected academic voices in our region. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Hiram Singh. Please give him a round of applause. Stage. Okay.
Those in to stay here all the time.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Just stay here.
The stage is yours.
Good morning.
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 Thank you for having me. I'm a bit overwhelmed with the reception. Thank you, Professor Madu, for appreciating this event, and thank you all the fellow graduate students for making this possible. I believe I have about 90 minutes for my sharing, then it will be followed by Q&A. So instead of giving a lecture, occasions like this, I prefer to tell stories. So in my presentation, you will hear more stories rather than lecture. The purpose is, I hope at the end of the seminar, you will feel more inspired, you will feel more motivated. The reality is that postgraduate, master's, PhD journey is full of challenges. Writing and publishing is never meant to be easy, but this journey can be extremely rewarding. It can be extremely satisfying. So this journey does not promise smooth sailing process. If we have the right attitude, then you will realize this is a journey where you learn, you unlearn, you relearn. Apart from achieving your goals, you complete your master's, you complete your PhD, you publish your papers. These are the goals that we are aiming at. But if you go through this process with the right attitude, not only you will achieve your goals, you will learn a lot in the process. When you achieve your goal doesn't surprise you anymore. Because the process that you go through, you realize in many ways is more valuable. It not only ensures achievement of goals, it ensures continuous success after graduation, after publication, because our journey is still long. And there are many more we can do. And as researcher, postgraduate students, you need to rethink and reflect what is your role. Yesterday, I was in a conference. I had the pleasure sharing the stage with a government official from the Ministry of Tourism, and also another successful industry leader from Taman Mini Indonesia, INDA. This is the platform I cherish because this is where we can have meaningful dialogues with different stakeholders. I've been joining too many academic conferences until I feel bored, B-O-R-E-D. It's nothing wrong with research. There's nothing wrong with academic scholarly discussions, but many times I begin to wonder, how impactful these discussions are if we cannot effectively translate them into practice in the real world. So my background, even though I have been in academia for some years, I also spend a lot of time with the government sectors, with the ministry, with private sectors, with community members. The reason is simple. What I say in seminar like this, what I write in papers for publication, can I actually translate them into real action? I write discussions for my papers, and I ask myself, in the real world, will this discussion be of relevance to the community members? Yesterday, I mentioned about community resilience. It's easy for us to stand here in a privileged position to talk about community resilience. But if we are a community member living in a rural area, then we will realize it's easier said than done. So I put myself to task to do things myself on the ground to know whether it actually works in real life. And that is important because sometimes research ideas come from literature. Sometimes research ideas come from real world observation. Yes, we need to read a lot of literature. To publish papers, you need literature. For social science, for publishing in top or good social science journals, example, journals in management, in marketing, more than often, you need strong theoretical advancement. And this is also why when you submit a paper to a good journal in social science, in most cases, if editors cannot find theoretical positioning, theoretical contribution in your introduction, forget about literature, methods, findings, discussion, only in the introduction. Basically, they have already made up their mind that this paper will be rejected. They will not want to send to reviewers because they do not want to burden reviewers with works which they don't enjoy. For young consumers, for example, rejection rate 90%. Okay. Scopus Q1. Another journal that I edit, Asian Journal of Business Research, Scopus Q2, rejection rate 85%. Okay, so if I receive 10 papers from you, only one paper may get through. So you must understand the reality. Good journals receive more than what they can publish. When your paper is rejected, it does not mean your study is bad. It does not mean the content is poor. Like it or not, we only have 10 slots in an issue, for example. And there are so many good papers. And since these are international journals, we receive papers from all over the world. How your abstract is written, how your introduction is crafted is very important. First impression matters. If authors are busy, you must also remember editors are also busy. So if you prepare a manuscript right from the introduction, we don't really see the novelty of research. We don't really see the originality of research. We don't really know what is your contribution to knowledge. Then your paper will likely be rejected. You may say, oh, my paper makes contribution to knowledge because it has never been done among Generation Z before. It has never been done in Jogja before. It has never been done in UGM before. I'm sorry, Generation Z, Indonesia, Jogja, UGM, these are context. These are not concepts. So when we talk about contribution to knowledge, it is mainly about conceptual contribution, theoretical contribution. Do I like it? Do I agree with it? Not really. But this is how it works. I also learned this. I also play the game, quote, quote. But I hope I can slowly, gradually change the game. It doesn't mean that I'm a change maker, but I think this is another excellent platform to share my thoughts with you. Like I said, at the end of this seminar, will you learn more publishing strategies? Will you learn more writing techniques? I don't know. I will share with you some techniques, but it doesn't make you an overnight success. You still have to write, you still have to learn. And in our experience, we know we learn more through mistakes and failures. So you must embrace mistakes and failures. If you are afraid of mistakes and failures, then you will not learn. Whether you are ready or not, since you are doing your postgraduate studies, you must step up, shoulder the responsibility, how I can learn research and how I can use research to inform practice. Yes, I want to complete my master's. This is important. I want to complete my PhD. This is important. But remember, your role is greater than this. If you are a working adult, if you have working experience, I applaud you because we need more researchers who are well versed, not only in scholarly matters, they are also, well established in the industry. And this is also why for some years I spent more time with the industry, with the community. So my publication drops. Okay. But over the years, something which I will share with you later, I met many friends. So I have many teams to work with. Malaysian team, Indonesian team, Southeast Asia team, China team. So even right now when I'm standing there, someone in Malaysia is drafting a paper for me. Someone in China is submitting a paper that I work with him, with her. So again, you will realize, I hope, in my presentation, when you reach your goal, whether it is your master degree, your PhD degree, or whether it is a publication, it is your publication, you reap benefits in the process. In English, we have a saying that you get more than what you bargained for. And after you graduate, there are many graduates. Before they graduate and after they graduate, they don't know what else they should do. They don't know what is next. What is next? Go for PhD. After PhD, what is next? I will just find a job at a university and teach. Nothing wrong with this, but a lot more can be done. And this is also where you begin to build your profile. You build your value. As a student of UGM is already a brand. Top 2 in Indonesia, right? Okay. QS ranking, Southeast Asia, top 30. Universitas Indonesia and UGM are on the list. Okay. But what about building your profile, building your value? Not only UGM is your value, but your learning, your achievements become your value as well. Some people ask me, how can you work with so many people around the world? A simple answer is, when you build your value, you work with different teams. This is why you can manage so many things at the same time. God forbid, we do not want another COVID to happen. But looking at human behavior, what happens in the world, I think humanity doesn't really learn lessons well. So no surprise if something major happens again. But anyway, my point is, when things happen, will you be resilient to overcome, to survive? When I was at UCSI University in year 2000, UCSI University in tourism and hospitality, before I left, was ranked top 37 in the world. When I joined, it was not ranked. In 2017. When I left 2023, it was ranked top 37 in the world. Many people were concerned whether they would lose their job in the year 2020. I would be lying if I told you I was not worried, but I was not really worried in a sense. Why? Because if I'm laid off, if I lose my job, I believe other jobs will come for me. Because when you build your research profile, when people know your value, when you know your own value, then you know that you will be of use. Jobs will look for you. You don't have to look for jobs. So also in my presentation later, I will talk about how I manage journals. So these are my journals. These are not UCSI University journal. These are not UGM's journal. These are my journal, the journal of my association. So what it means is, wherever I go, these journals follow me. Okay, so my profile does not depend on position. In fact, when universities interview me, many times they ask me, would you like to hold the dean position? My answer is, if you give me dean, I will resign today. Sorry, no insinuation to those who are holding leadership position at university. I respect, I admire those who hold admin position, salute, okay, but that's not me. So that's why for many years, I spent considerable amount of time on research, on publication, not only to publish, but also to learn about publication. You may wonder what is the difference, huh? Okay, so this is my brief opening to give you an overview what I'm going to share with you for the rest for the next 1 to 2 hours. Is the pace, the language, everything okay? All good? All right, good. So please let me know if you need any clarification. So who is going to control? Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Now, we talk about impact. What is impact? Many institutions, many universities rely on metrics. Example, we have Scopus, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Scopus also comes out with site score. If you publish in Web of Science, SSCI, SCIE, SCI, then you have impact factor. Or if you go for FBDC in Australasia, your paper is published in a journal rank A, B, C, A star, or FBS, 1, 2, 3. So these metrics are useful in some ways to determine the quality of the journals. Does it determine the quality of your paper? Maybe yes, maybe no. Because some papers in a journal are highly cited, some papers are not really cited at all. But they are benefited from the ranking of the journal. To put it simply, even though metrics are useful, we know that it is not perfect. There are so many loopholes. There are so many situations where people take advantage of these metrics for their own agenda. What about social impact? What about social impact? What about making a real change? Whether it is a change of your own behavior, or it could be an influence on your neighborhood, on people around you, on your community. So these are the things we need to consider. Now, when you look at your own research, you're doing your master's in environmental science, right? Management. What is the impact of your research? What is the impact of your research? Do you choose your topic because your supervisor told you so? You choose your topic because this is your interest? You choose your topic because this is related to your working experience? Okay, so again, all these are possible options. But what about impact? Now, whether we can make a great impact or not, it is something subjective. It remains to be seen. But for undergraduate students, for master's students, many times I would tell my students, learn as much as possible in the process. Okay, forget about changing the world. Forget about changing climate change, climate adaptation. Yes, do something about it, but learn as much as possible, because this is a process where you need to learn skills. Learning skills requires time. Why I wake up this morning and brush my teeth? Because it already becomes my habit. I did it every day since, I don't know, year one until now. So automatically, I know what to do, how to do it more effectively. Some, they rush their research. They finish in 1 year, they finish in 2 years, as if they are better than those who finish in 3 years and 4 years. I beg to differ because different people, different journeys. If you finish in 1 year, in 2 years, congratulations. But a question remains. Have you really learned enough? Your topic is given by your supervisor, you don't challenge him, you don't challenge her. Your topic is correct, your literature is wonderful, your methods are spot on, your findings are great, your discussions are very insightful, your conclusion, wonderful. You do everything smoothly, you complete, you graduate. Yes, we should congratulate you. But on the other hand, I'm worried because you do things so smoothly. Have you learned enough? Are you exposed to different methods? Are you exposed to different literature? Have you learned how to accept rejection? Have you learned how to address major revision? You have learned software A. What about software B? Software B may not be relevant to your thesis, but who knows? Your examiners, your reviewers may ask you, you're using software A. Have you tried software B? If your answer is, I don't think software B is correct, then he will tell you, then I think you are not correct. You should redo and resubmit your thesis. Okay? How to address comments? How to address unfavorable comments, reviews? These are skills, soft skills. These are researchers' qualities. You must learn as much as possible when you do your master's degree, when you do your PhD. Okay? Why science? Masters of Science? Because research is a scientific process where you can learn things consistently, systematically. You know how to use works before you. You know how to contribute to knowledge, and you provide a platform future researchers can use your work and advance your work. So it is an ongoing process. We need more researchers, young researchers like this, to bridge gaps between academia and industry, to do more meaningful research on many desa wisata in Indonesia, to do many things in Indonesia, not only for tourism, but for other disciplines. I always said tourism is not a unidimensional thing. It is a multidisciplinary area because it is relevant to waste management, environmental science, architecture design, sustainable fashion, social work, volunteerism. Everything is related because this is a platform for us to exchange ideas. Yes, I'm in marketing. I do some research in tourism, but I need to work with those in environmental science. I need to work with those in finance, in law, because we need to work together in order to make an impact on the real world. So that is my first slide. Second, next please. So I do not want to go into all the details. Just remember that master's degree, PhD is a process where we can learn and acquire skills. Yes, completing it is important, but don't rush it at the expense of learning. Because the more you learn, the more you can make an impact on others. Okay, next please. We talk about global issues, we talk about local solutions. Or if we look at the topic this morning, there are many global issues today. How can we turn them into something useful in the local context? Or when you look at a local context in Yogyakarta, how can you turn it into a study with global significance? It could be a study in Jogja. You collect data in Jogja, not from Indonesia, not from Southeast Asia. But how can you craft your story so that when editors, reviewers read, examiners read, yes, your research site is Jogja, but your study has global significance. And therefore, a Malaysian, a Vietnamese, a Thai can be benefited from your paper. Okay, so this is something that we need to look into. And this is also why, apart from literature, we must read, we must also learn to observe the real world. We must also talk to practitioners. When master's students, PhD students come to me, new students, I will ask them, what is your interest? Okay, so they tell me what their interest is. Then I will ask them, go back, after 2 weeks, come back and see me again. You need to feed me with literature. Because as a supervisor, I don't know about the situation in Indonesia. For me, I treat them as my team members. It is not a boss and slave relationship. It is a coach and players relationship. After 2 weeks, they come back, they explain to me their idea, they explain to me their topics, but they explain with literature support. Then I'll ask them questions. Q&A. When they cannot answer my question, I will tell them, go back, read more, see me 1 week later. You may think this is a waste of time, but again, think about this is a process of training. After 1 week, they come back, they explain to me their topics, they provide literature support, they they provide more literature to explain. Okay. Then I'll ask more questions. Okay, so my master's class, usually I will tell my students, next week we will talk about chapter 2. So next week when you come, you teach me, I will ask questions. I don't teach. I will ask my students to teach me. My job is to ask questions. If you can answer, if you can understand, then proceed to chapter 3. Okay. So either you like it or you hate it. All right. Then I will also ask something practical. Yes, I will check on theory. I will check on literature. The reality is, I, as a supervisor, do not know everything as well. So when you explain to me your topics, I need you to tell me literature. Then I can use my experience to link this topic with literature together, whether it makes sense and whether you are safe to proceed. So I need to be responsible for my students. They may feel that I torture them, okay? But actually, I need to take responsibility to make sure that they will not get stuck later. Many times we see ahead. If you continue this, I'm sure 3 months later, you will get stuck. If you continue with this design, I'm sure when you collect data, you will be in problem. Okay? Especially those who are doing survey research. Okay? Those who are into structural equation modeling. Okay? Many times, we don't need to know too much. By listening to how you design your research, we already know what problems you will encounter. Okay? So this is a relationship where we learn from one another and students explain their topics, they feed me with literature. Then I will ask something practical because I want to know whether it is of relevance in the real world. If they cannot answer my question, I will not tell them go back and read more. I will tell them go to the relevant industry and talk to the manager, talk to the CEO. It may be useful to your research. It may not be useful to your research. It is a necessary process to develop your critical thinking, to develop your observation skill. Even right now, you are watching me, I'm looking at all of you. I'm observing you, you're observing me. In my mind, I'm also collecting data about postgraduate students at UGM. Okay, not bad, huh? I don't see any people watching their handphone. Okay. Anyway, so even right now, I'm doing research. And when I arrived, I didn't talk. You have certain perception. After I talk, you collect more data. Oh, Hiram is like this. He is like that. Research happens every day. Why? Because when you are curious about something, you will ask questions. You have questions. Okay, maybe some of you came because you were curious about me. You were curious about a topic. Maybe you are not curious at all. Not a problem. But research. You want to seek truths. You want to understand realities. And this is the scientific process. Again, why you do Masters of Science. A scientific process for a continual quest for truth, for reality. And this is relevant today because when you are observant, when you develop critical thinking, when you develop critical argumentation, you don't argue simply because you disagree. You argue because you are curious. You need evidence. This is also why seminar like this, after the talk, some had questions, some no question. Some, they keep thinking what questions I have. They cannot think of any question. Now, I I'm not here to conclude who you are, but let me explain a possible scenario. All of us listen to the same talk, but some people, when listening, they understand what I'm saying. They understand what I'm saying. When I say something else, they have a question. Okay, I'm not so clear about this. Therefore, I need to ask the speaker later. Then another question. Some understand, then finish. Any question? No question. But actually, there are many things he or she may not fully understand yet. Some, they don't understand certain things, but they don't want to ask questions. Why? Maybe in Southeast Asia, we are afraid to ask questions. Why? If we ask a question, if this speaker is very rude, this speaker may say, "You are a master student. How come you ask a question like this?" And you feel hurt. Okay, and then all the students laugh. "Oh my goodness, you ask such a foolish questions." We are afraid to make mistake. We are afraid to fail. This becomes a problem. Okay, when we were all young children, we don't really care, right? We ask questions. We ask stupid questions. Sometimes we also ask smart questions. Like my boy asked me questions related to black hole in the universe. Because he read something on Google, right? I couldn't answer. Children, they are curious about so many things they observe and they ask. But as we grow older and older, now we are not really old, but older, we ask less and less questions. What is the problem? What is the problem? Okay, in some places, students don't want to sit here because easy to be picked on. Is this the problem here? Yes, no, okay. Again, observing, because there are lecture hall where you have theater style like this. Students prefer to sit in the third row because they don't have to bend their neck too much. So different people, different situation. You cannot conclude that, okay, I conclude that only these 4 students are the top students in the seminar because they sit at the front row. The rest, those at the back, you are no good. No. You observe, you think critically, you ask questions. These questions will become possible research topics. So can you see my point? Research topics are everywhere. How innovative are you? We accept all this and we begin to take things for granted. We accept what it is, how it is done. Until someone with critical thinking, with innovation, then they begin to wonder, why are we doing this all the time? Why not we change this? We change that. It will make all of us more convenient. It will make everything easier. Example, Uber and Grab. Disruptive technology, right? I wonder, why did I not come up with this idea? Because they did not really do much. Application is already there. Taxi drivers are already there. Many cars on the road, many drivers. You go to many places, macet, no parking space, walking distance, raining. Somehow, someone put all these ideas together. Why not I come up with a platform to create that convenience, to save you 5 minutes, to save you 10 minutes. And we know the rest is history. They become millionaire. Okay? How they put ideas, issues, many things which we take for granted together in order to create that convenience. We talk about climate adaptation, how climate change damages so many things, takes away so many jobs. But if you really do research, you develop your observation skill, critical thinking. Why not think from another perspective? Yes, we know that climate change takes away many jobs. How can we use this issue to create new jobs? Okay, there are many poverty issues in Cambodia, in many countries. Yes, it is a social problem. But can you think from another perspective? Since this is a reality, children running around asking for, last time when I went to Angkor Wat, Cambodia, more than 10 years ago, children asking for $1, $1, $1, $1. Okay, last year when I went, I don't see any of this anymore. The problem is, should I give them $1? This is a problem. Because yes, we sympathize them, but at the same time, we know behind all these poor children, there is syndicate, there is association. But when you develop your research thinking, critical thinking, then you can come up with some ideas, research, projects, initiatives. How can I create a platform to bring all these children together, getting funding from the government, getting funding from Asia Development Bank, getting funding from Asia Foundation? Who knows? This becomes the profession of the rest of your life. You turn something negative into positive. You turn issues into solutions. And these are what I meant, global issues and local context. Global issues done locally. Local context, but it carries global significance. Okay? All these require research skills. Research is not just about getting your master's and PhD done. Again, this is important. Don't overlook the process where you can learn so much. You can make a difference. You can make an impact on the community. Next slide, please. I'm very bad at managing my time, so I need to look at, okay, 9:30. Okay, so 30 minutes left, let me know. 10 minutes left, let me know. Okay. Okay, I will skip this, all right? Next slide, please. One of my projects is responsible tourism. Now, I forget what my next slides are because I've been talking all the time with different slides. But anyway, whatever it is, let me explain first. This is something that I started working on some years ago. One important reason is because responsible tourism is about call to action. So responsible tourism is not another tourism label. It is not another tourism product. Okay, we have too many labels, enough. It is about call to action. And like what I said earlier, the emphasis here is not about tourism as a discipline. It is about tourism as a platform where all of us can play a part to be responsible. Okay, you do not need to be a responsible scholar. You don't have to be you don't have to be a tourism scholar. You don't have to be a tourism student to understand tourism. You travel, you stay in hotel, you visit museum, you love nature. Tourism, hospitality, it happens every day. But tourism now becomes a platform where we can all come together, exchange our ideas, share our resources, learn from one another, and collaborate. Example, I learn tourism, you learn fashionable design. Let's work together on sustainable fashion in tourism. Or it might not be tourism, in fashion. Or I could be in tourism, you could be in architecture, cultural mapping. Let's work together, do cultural mapping on some historical sites. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I went to where? Kotak, Gede. Kede, Badak Kede. Kede. Okay, sorry. What else can be done in order to revitalize? Not only we preserve the culture, we want to revitalize them innovatively so that young people, Generation Y, Generation Z, they also find relevance and their identity, their narratives can be presented more effectively to visitors. And when visitors come, they learn, they become ambassadors of what they learn in all these destinations. So a lot more can be done, and you cannot just do it in tourism. You have to learn from everyone. That's why I work with someone at IPB. Tourism is under forestry, ecotourism under forestry. You can't just do research on visitors' intention, visitors' motivation. Yes, all these are important, but what about environmental science? You need to learn all this. Now, this is why when we talk about responsible tourism, if you look at the slide, making better places for people to live in, making places for people to visit. Now, did you notice it talks about live in first, then only visit. So there is a transformative change in tourism, even though many still don't change. Yet there is a call to change that tourism should benefit local residents first, not visitors. Not visitors. Again, by doing this, tourism becomes a platform. It becomes a vehicle for improving livelihood, community welfare. And this is also why we have to work together. Now, let's like this. Let's see what it is. Okay. Again, these are the things that I've been doing in recent years. I shared a bit yesterday in my speech. When I applied for funding from the government, Ministry of Tourism, to do a project in a community area in my place. It was eventually approved with an amount, with terms of reference, TOR. But when I went to that community, I decided to put TOR aside, terms of reference aside. I spent a lot of time talking to the community leaders, community members, in order to earn the right for them to trust me. I could have gone there and told them, hello, I come here with the ministry support, with the grant, and therefore we need to do a project here. All of you must cooperate. We hope we can get it done in 1 year. These are the expected outputs. You can exaggerate as much as you like without really spending time knowing them and listening to them. So I spend time talking to them, listening to them, understanding their voices, understanding their concerns. After some time, they could see my sincerity in doing research in that particular place. Why? Because one of them asked me, are you here because of a grant? The answer is yes, but I did not want to answer immediately because there is something in her question. So I just asked her, why asking this question? She told me, because some time ago, another university came. They came because they had a grant project. They asked us to do this, they asked us to do that, we comply, we cooperate. After 6 months, they disappear. And then we asked these university, these students, why are they not coming back again? They replied, because we have finished our grant. Again, this is the reality. I don't want to say right or wrong, but as a community members, you feel that you are being you are being used, taken advantage. Okay, whether outputs promise expected happens or not, they don't see it. Okay, this is why after knowing their concern, I told them, yes, we are also on a grant, but don't worry. We want to work with you in the long term. The project was finished some years ago, but I still maintain friendship, communication with many of them. When they trust you, okay, and when they respect you, then they will tell you many things which you didn't know. Okay, they brought me to places which I didn't know. If I went there myself, you might not be welcomed by the local people. But because community leader drove the car with you, they welcome you. They welcome you. And that facilitated the whole project. After 1 year, when the project was completed, I make sure I prepare the report in accordance with TOR to satisfy the ministry side, or else they will not release the money. Okay. But what we did with the community is more than the term of reference. And they were so happy with us. They are so pleased with the outcome. Our friendship continues. As a result, these community leaders introduce us to leaders of another community. So it makes everything easier. Okay, so this is where you take responsibility in your research. Yes, you want to get it done, but at the same time, how you can create values, how you co-create values, how you work together with local people as equal partners. Even though I am a researcher, I hold a PhD, but when I am with the community members, we are equal. I learn from them, their local wisdom, indigenous knowledge. We work together. They don't feel any inferior when they see us. Okay, so again, you can get it done as a job, but you can also get it done in a very purposeful, meaningful way. After this research is done, we already know what is the second research project, third research project, fourth research project. It is not something one-off, it is something continue. And when I submitted another proposal, I have the support from the committee members, okay, to welcome us to do this project. So again, your research is more than just writing findings, recommendation, end of the story. Now, with the emergence of AI, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, sometimes you don't trust many discussions anymore. Okay, and this is another problem. If you don't exercise your observation, critical thinking, then ChatGPT can do everything for you. Okay, but if you exercise your critical thinking, your critical argumentation, you don't agree with everything ChatGPT generates, because some of the points they generate, yes, these are in the literature, but they are not relevant anymore. They are not relevant anymore. Okay, so these are things that you can do, and for me, this is an ongoing project. So let's move on to the next slide.
Yes, sorry, Professor, your time 25 minutes.
Oh, 25 minutes, huh? Okay. Okay, I still have many slides, huh? Okay, so this is a framework that we come up with. How much, how soon, how long, how important, how urgent, how significant. Because what is important may not be urgent. What is important may not be significant in the long term. So when we talk about sustainability, sometimes sustainability is too abstract. So we decompose sustainability with responsibility. And this is where we talk about how important, how much, how urgent, how soon, how significant, how long. Okay, SDGs. Every SDG is important, but based on local context, which one is more urgent? Because we don't have unlimited resources. And if you do it, how long it is significant, how durable it is. Again, think about research that you are doing today. Yes, you need to learn. This is what I have been emphasizing. But think about purpose, research that is more purposeful, more meaningful, and more impactful. Next, please. Okay. During COVID time, I did this research with fellow researchers in Southeast Asia. We communicated through Zoom. So we came up with a model called Southeast Asia Responsible Tourism Framework. So this is where you can find a lot of things which I described in the last 30 minutes. Okay, next, please. As I told you, apart from academia, I'm also involved in ministry, governmental level initiatives and community works. So that's why I'm also involved in UN tourism work and those from UK, those with the ministry. I just received email yesterday. UN tourism requires me to provide data. My observation in Southeast Asia again. So every quarter, they will come up with a barometer report. So that's why I did a bit of study on Indonesia as well. Okay, next please. I presented this to the government, why we should come up with blueprint and roadmap. Now, don't worry about the content. The content is not the main thing. What I want to highlight is, as a researcher, I work with not only researchers, I work with policymakers, industry players, private sectors, associations, and community members. And this is what all of you should aspire to become. Okay, again, completing your master thesis is important. Completing your PhD is important. I wish you all the best. But you can do a lot more than that in the process. Learn the skills so that you can be more useful, you can make a greater impact on others. Next, please. This is one of the projects that I did with the community. Okay, so I will just skip this. Next. Okay, things that I did with them. Next. Okay, how we help them to develop this place. And we brought in geologists, we brought in Ministry of Environmental and Resource Management. More importantly, we want to make sure local business do better. Why? Because if I talk to these local business people, housewives, if I tell them, you must understand what sustainable tourism is, they will chase me away. Okay, yes, you do something on sustainability. Yes, you do something on responsible tourism, but they are not there listening to your lecture. They just want to make sure, if today I earn 10 USD per week, after your project, can I earn 50 USD per week? If you can do that, they will welcome you. Okay, so in a very real sense, can your project really make a difference on their lives? You can have more slides, you can have more lecture, they don't care. Okay, that's why some people ask me, what is the biggest achievement of my project in this area? I told them without hesitation, my biggest achievement is when I go there, I see many smiling faces. That's it. Okay, TOR, whatever, blueprint, yes, all these are important. But as far as the community members are concerned, they welcome me, they see me as their friends. So the next time if you come to Sarawak, I'll bring you to this place. Okay, next please. Okay, research publication, which I will spend, I don't know, the remaining 20 minutes on. But I also write a lot of papers, not for research publication. It does not contribute to my KPI, but I don't care. Why? Because these are the publication where my writing can reach out to more audience. Again, even though it does not contribute to my research KPI, it increases your social impact. One day, a private sector invites you because of your paper in newspaper. One day, that's why, again, I hope you understand when I said this. UGM, Dr. Mita, invited me to speak in the conference July last year because she wanted to lock my schedule. I think last year, July or August, I can't remember. I told her I declined. I declined. Then she told me, no, this is not ordinary conference. You will meet government people, you will talk to industry people, then only I accept. Because whenever I receive invitation to speak in different countries, in a pure academic conference, many times I will decline. Because flying, traveling, transit is very tiring for me. People thought that I like to fly. Okay, I was in Jakarta for 3 days. I'm now in Jogja for 3 days. Tomorrow, I'll spend 1 day in Malang. After that, I'll spend 1 day in Surabaya. Conference, workshop, meeting, whatever, everything. Surabaya, I'll fly to Hong Kong. Also 1 day meeting, whatever. Then I'll go to Macau, 3 days, meeting, conference, discussion. Then I'll fly to Hangzhou to meet in Alibaba headquarters 1 day. Then I'll go to Anhui community visit tourism revitalization project at university discussion. Then I will go to Beijing, Peking University for another discussion. Then I'll fly to Hanoi for 3 days. Then I'll fly to Da Nang 4 days. Fly to Ho Chi Minh 5 days. Then I'll go to Phuket another 5 days. I go to Kuala Lumpur. People, when they know I'm in KL, they still want to stop me from going back to Kuching. So I stay another night in Kuala Lumpur. I will go back to my lovely home on the 24th of August. Oh. You should not clap. How can you do research? How can you use research to develop your profile? You become more useful, not only to academia, but also to industry, to community, to government. Okay, you will receive invitation by government. You will receive invitation by industry players. You will receive invitation by community members. I don't like to fly, I don't like to travel, but when I see values in doing this, when I see the possibility of making this platform bigger so that more can come in. So if you'd like to join me in the future, let me know. Including my journals, I'm looking for more reviewers if you're interested. Because as I told you earlier, I learned the game, I play the game, but I want to change the game. Okay. One of the managing editor of my journal, Asian Journal of Business Research, Scopus Q2, when I appointed her as assistant editor, she only started her PhD in Jakarta. When I appointed her as managing editor, she only completed her first year. She asked me, can I become managing editor? Are you sure? I told her, I'm very sure. Okay. I'm very sure because she shows a very positive attitude to learn. Even though she's scared, she has no experience. I tell her, don't worry, I will guide you how to do it. I just want to make sure you are committed to learning. Because of her accumulated experience in managing journal, she had to read all the papers coming in. She had to learn how to reject papers. At the beginning, I had to guide her slowly, gradually. She learned all this. She started to write papers. She started to publish papers in Q1 Journal. Last year, when she applied for associate professor, she got it. Last month, she completed her PhD. Now, associate professor, Dr. So and so. She got her associate professor before completing her PhD. Okay, you thought that, oh, journal, it should be after PhD, after I become associate professor, after I become professor. Let me tell you, I do things differently, and therefore, I will tell you that there are many ways to do things. Sometimes the system that we live in makes us believe that this is the only way to succeed. But as I told you, different people, different journeys. Okay, I have student 70 years old. I have students, she was pregnant when she was doing her PhD, crying and all that. Some student, 25 years old, she could study 8 hours per day. Good on her. But many, they can't because they work, their family commitment, they travel, they are not living in Malaysia. So how can we succeed? Again, this is a process. You can learn a lot of things. Many things that I share with you today, I share with you not because of my success. I share with you because I learn from my mistakes. I learn from experience. And I hope these are relevant to you. So even though non-research publication does not contribute to my research KPI, but it is so useful for many other things. Next, please. Okay, how many minutes left? Okay, I may need to borrow a few more minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Apart from publishing papers, in 2017, I discussed with my juniors. Since all of us are using structural equation modeling, why not we start a new journal called Journal of Applied Structural Equation Modeling? Okay, so we started the journal called JASEM, Journal of Applied Structural Equation Modeling, in 2017. To cut the story short, in 2019, we submitted for Scopus evaluation, 2 years. 2020, it was accepted by Scopus, less than 3 years. 2024, it was Scopus Q1. Okay, so this is a journal where we started from nothing. Young Consumers, when I was appointed as editor-in-chief, it was already a good journal. I inherit a good journal. But for my learning's sake, I also want to learn starting something from nothing. From India. Must be my trip to India in October. I declined her many times already, but this trip, there are many other initiatives, so I have to accept. Anyway, okay. So this is a journey where we learn from nothing and we created something from nothing. And if you look at the journal, those who use SCM, you should know all the big names. Joseph Hare, Christian Ringel, Marco Sastet, Ned Cobb, all these are on the list. And these are also our friends. Okay, that's why I will go to Macau end of July, because I invited Christian Ringel as a keynote speaker. Okay, so imagine this is a process. Not only you publish your paper, but you can do so many things. So JASEM is my journal, our journal. Wherever I go, it follows. Okay, even though I'm not with UCSI University anymore, but this journal is still with me. Okay, so I hope you can develop that mindset, how to work using an ecosystem thinking. Publishing is one item. How can you work as an ecosystem? And that's why when you attend a conference, select conferences. And when you attend a conference, don't just present, read your slide from A to Z. After that, no time for Q&A, then finish. Afternoon, you go shopping. That's why many conferences like to be held in tourist attraction. Spend time networking, talking to people at the front rows, talking people sitting at the back rows. Okay, when I join conferences, sometimes my friends like to take pictures with people at the front rows. Why? They are speakers, distinguished guests. I, again, behave differently. I will go to the back. Okay, because all delegates for me are equally important. And I did it with sincerity. And little did I know, after 3 years, after 4 years, after 5 years, those who sat at the back, they become dean, they become head of department, they become director. That's why they begin to invite me to their events. So things happen in the wonderful way when you see values, when you create values. So every time I told my student, I told my colleague, in your presentation, don't speak everything. Just present for 5 minutes, 8 minutes, tell them what you are doing. Before you conclude, before they ask you questions, you ask them questions first. Because you want to learn from them. 8 minutes presentation, 20 minutes Q&A. So that you can learn more from them. Okay, so there are many things that are not that healthy today, but I hope it makes sense to you. Next, please. Okay, this is another journal I started 3 years ago. And we manage this journal manually. Why? Because it is owned by association. We don't have money like UGM or other institutions. Website, I pay. Okay. Design, I ask my assistant. Papers, email, Excel, spreadsheet, we manage manually. But we did it in a consistent, effective way to make sure that it will get into Scopus. What happened is, this meeting happened 2 days ago when I was in Jakarta. Okay, they wanted to have Zoom meeting with me from UK. Emerald Publishing is so impressed with this journal. Emerald Publishing asked me whether they can acquire this journal. They pay me. Okay. By the way, publication is also a big business. Okay, so I better don't say too much. Let me just say one thing. If I do business in this, I'm already a millionaire. Okay, but no, I'm not. No, I'm not a millionaire. Okay.
Okay, from your time, you wrap up 10 minutes again.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I need to wrap up. Okay. So I told them you cannot acquire, but we can work together. Okay. So next issue of JRTM will be published in Emerald Publishing. Okay. So again, how you do something locally, but it attracts international attention. Okay. Next, please. These are the special issues I did between 2018 to 2022. My friend asked me, why do you want to spend so much time in special issue? Why not you write your own papers? Because if I edit a special issue, I don't publish in my own special issue. It will be treated as you take advantage of your special issue. Now, let me give you the reason why I spend time on this. Next slide, please. Because when I do special issues, I met friends with scholars throughout the world. Okay, from USA, from China, from Africa, from Hong Kong, from Taiwan, from Australia. Okay, even though I publish less when I edit special issues because I need to spend time on special issue. But the benefits, you met friends all over the world. Potential authors from different countries email me. They want to publish their papers in my special issue. Then you communicate. Before long, you become friends and they invite you to Hong Kong, to Macau, to Australia. and the stories continue. Okay, next. Know your value, manage your priorities, and build your networks. Basically, these are the three things I discussed with you. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. If PhD completion is a success, nothing wrong. If publication is a success, nothing wrong. So my point is the process of learning skills, the process of publishing, not just publication, is a man of value. Because you learn value, you create values, and these values will follow you for the rest of your life. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, I will skip all this. Next. 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 My assistant prepared all these slides for me. By the way, the person, my assistant, who prepared this slide for me is from Pekanbaru Baru. Okay. She lives happily in Sarawak. The only complaint she has is no sambal. Okay. Food in Sarawak not spicy enough. Anyway, this is a paper in Scopus SSCI Q1. I need a few more minutes. Sorry. I just want to impress you how I started with this paper. It all started with observation. Observation. I went to a restaurant. Before I ate, I observed. Wow, many people, when they order their food, before they eat, they take photo first. Now I also do this. Okay. After they take photo, they share. They share on Facebook, Instagram, and all that. And their friends start to ask, oh, where is it? Can I try? We should go next time or whatever. So selfie is not an advertisement, but selfie becomes a voluntary promotion for the company. So I told my friends, a few of them, why not we do a research to compare selfie promotion with celebrity endorsement? Celebrity, somebody. Me, nobody. Advertisement, paid. Selfie, free. Followers, here, because of your followers, because of your likes, it also becomes known to many people. Okay. Then we use a model called ISAS. Have you heard of ISAS? Attention, interest, search, action, and share. Especially in the age of social media, you share. Now, I need a bit of time to describe this, because theoretically, do you think this is logical? Number one, you become aware of something, then you become interested, you search for more information, you take action, whether you like it or not, you will share. Theoretically, does it sound logical? Yes. This is why in social science research, you must always base your study on theory. Theory provides the basis to support your framework, to support the relationship between variables. If there's no theory, or if your theoretical positioning is weak, then your paper will be rejected by good journals. You may still pass your master's and PhD, but not journal, not good journal. Okay. Now, if I do this, what is new? Now, this is where the observation and critical thinking comes in. I challenge, and I want you to think about your own experience. Even though AISAS is logical, and even though AISAS explains what happens, right? The question is, does it always happen to you? Do you always go through AISAS when you make decision? Not all the time, right? So now you begin to challenge the theory. During COVID time, example, when you become aware of something real, something fake, because sharing is caring,
Yeah.
you skip all the steps, you share immediately. Correct? So this is why simple thing, but it requires observation and critical thinking. I always told my mom a few years ago, Mom, you always share fake news. Because why? When she receives something about vaccination, COVID-19, she cares for her children. She didn't check. She just shared with her children. So we use this irrational decision making to look at the effect of selfie promotion and celebrity endorsement to argue and eventually to conclude with evidence why selfie promotion can be as effective as celebrity endorsement. Okay, why? Because with disruptive technologies, with irrational behavior by consumers, you take shortcut to make decisions. Okay, so nothing really new, right? But when you put all these ideas together, the paper becomes interesting. So this paper is published in Internet Research, Scopus and SSCI Q1. Okay, so this is just one example. You must have theory. How can you make contribution to theory? Yes, you need some context. The context is on food, but food is not where the contribution is. Malaysia is not where the contribution is. That's why this study about young people, this study about food, this study about Malaysia, even though it is contextually in Malaysia, it has global significance because of contribution to knowledge. It can be applied in the Philippines, in Vietnam, in other places. Now, can you also imagine, and I hope you can understand why, when editors and reviewers look at your abstract and introduction, they may already decide where this paper will go. Because your introduction explains what is your research problem, what is your theoretical positioning, what are your expected contribution, then only you go to your literature review and all that. Okay, so this is the reason. Next, okay, we have to finish. Okay, we don't have time for this. Research note. Okay, next. There are different manuscript type, not only research paper. This is something I've been telling many lecturers and students. Our master thesis, our PhD thesis is like research paper. So if you rush things, after you finish your master's, after you finish your PhD, you only know how to write research paper. But what about the other manuscript types? Research note, book review, what else? Next, please. Event review, next. General review and report, next. Editorial and viewpoint, next. Food review, next. Food review, you have so much food in Indonesia. Okay, matters paper, next. Okay, so many manuscript types. Okay, let me just give you one example. Journal of Convention and Event Tourism. A journal about convention, about event. Even though tourism, it doesn't matter. Why? It could be an international conference on renewable energy, but you have delegates from all over the world. So still tourism is relevant. This journal is Scopus Q2. You can write research paper, but you can also write event review. If you write event review, if you go to the submission guidelines, don't be surprised. It's already there for a long time. If you see the statement, if you write event review, your words must not be more than 750. 750. You spend one night, you can finish already. And then you spend 3 nights reducing all the words because you write too many. Okay. I help this person. Oh, Phuket, sorry. Go back, please. I guided this. Go back, please. Okay, stop. I guided them to write this paper, The World of Peranakan Food Art Exhibition and Festival in Phuket. I guided them to do it in December. They submitted in January. The paper is published in March. Scopus 750 words only. Scopus Q2. Okay. So this is another situations where many people only know about research paper. Nothing wrong. We must write research paper because this is where we learn originality, novelty, and many other things. But there are many other outlets. That's why in Indonesia, in Thailand, I can't help because there are so many interesting projects, interesting case studies. But if you write your case study as a research paper, then it is challenging. Because, like I said, one of the first criteria is, what is your theoretical contribution? If there is none, then your paper may get rejected. It doesn't mean your project is not good. There are two reasons. Number one, you have to learn more how to write research paper. Number two, it may mean maybe research paper is not the right channel for you. Try the other types because your study is wonderful. You need different channel to tell your story so that your audience will understand. Okay, so we cannot say too much. This requires different workshops to talk about how all these manuscripts are prepared. But you can learn. The one way to learn it is go to the journal in your field, look at the submission guidelines. If they accept different manuscript types, what you can do is download the papers that use those types and learn from there. Prepare a paper using that article as your template. Case study, review, opinion, perspective, book review. Okay, next. Okay, I need to finish again. Next. This is a conference, a bit of promotion. Next year in Sarawak, in my place. I hope many of you, some of you can come because this is the platform where you will experience what I have been saying for 1 hour. Okay, official, academic, practitioner, community all come together. When we sing national anthem, like what we did just now, I don't want to play all this anymore. But Indonesia is still very innovative. You have someone who conduct. Okay, I invited children to sing. I invited people with special needs to perform. Why? Because this is a channel, a platform to show that we are inclusive. By design, even without presentation, by design, people can already see that this is a platform to advocate sustainability and responsibility. Everyone is VVIP, except during opening ceremony because ministers will be there. So I told my minister last time, during networking dinner, please, you don't come. Because if you come, then there will be protocol. We want everyone to be VVIP. You can grab any guest, any speaker as your friend. Okay, so you come not only as a presenter, you present. We want delegates to feel belong. As a result, they don't want to go to shopping anymore. They like to stay in the conference for 3 days because network, collaborate, everything, anything. Come and see, then you will know how true am I. Okay, next. Okay, next year in July. Okay, this is the program. Next. Okay, this is my last slide. Okay, Ibu. Keep your fish healthy by not overfeeding them. Okay, what does it mean? How many of you like to feed fish as pets? No. Okay. Now, buying fish is not expensive unless you buy expensive fish. But business is clever because when you buy fish, you must buy you must buy something else, right? Aquarium and then all the, I don't know what you call it, landscaping in the aquarium. So, and when you feed, you don't overfeed them. Because when you overfeed, it will contaminate the environment. Fish dies not because of food, but because of the environment. It dies. So, as conclusion, we need to know what our goals are. We need to know what we want to achieve, but don't be too fixated to our goals and what we achieve. Take care of the process. You will achieve your goal. Don't worry, I believe. Inshallah. Okay? But the process that you go through will create values. You will publish in Q1 journal, I'm sure, even though I didn't really teach you how to publish, except that one example. But learn in the process. One thing I learned in the past, when my paper was rejected by Young Consumers, I now am the editor-in-chief of Young Consumers. But 2015, when I submitted my paper to Young Consumer, my paper was that's rejected. 2015, that's rejected. 2022, I became editor-in-chief. 7 years from rejection to publication. If I can do it, all of you can do it. Okay, one last thing. When my paper was rejected, I did not want to read the comments. Because if I read the comments, I would have read it with a lot of anger. So I left. It took me a few days to accept the reality. When I went back to my laptop, I read. Then I read with an attitude to learn. Comments which I agree, I learn. Comments which I disagree, I also learn, I adopt it for future reference. Okay? Right after this, I did one thing, and that one thing achieved 3 things. I wrote an email to the editor-in-chief. Can I volunteer myself as an ad hoc reviewer? Ad hoc meaning by invitation. Okay? Editors like consistent reviewers. So at that time, that editor-in-chief accepted my email. He assigned a paper for me to review. So when I review, I make sure I did it well. Things I didn't understand, I go and read, and then I provide some comments. Comments, positive comments. Comments, even though negative, but I try to be constructive. After one review, second review, third review, I learned more and more. 3 things I achieved. Number 1, by doing review, I learned how to be critical. I learned how to be constructive. I learned how to be diplomatic when necessary. And also, Emerald Publishing allows you to read comments by other reviewers. You learn something that you pick up, something that you didn't. You learn. Benefit number 1. You learn how to review critically. Number 2, by doing that, you become more and more familiar with this journal. So when I prepare my next paper, that paper eventually went through review. Eventually, it was accepted for publication. Because after reviewing a few papers, one day, when you read a paper, you will tell yourself, if this person's paper can be published, of course, I can do something similar, or I can do something better. Sometimes you see some papers, they are not wonderful as well, but they are published. So you become more and more familiar with the journals in your field. Your publication success will increase. Achievement benefit number 3. After 3 rounds, 4 rounds of review, after 1 year, I wrote another email to the editor-in-chief. Can I be considered as an editorial board member? In the past, invitation ad hoc. Now I'm asking whether I can be included as one of the editorial board member. Editor-in-chief will look at my past performance, consistent, constructive, yes. So they include me as editorial board member. This is where I can become editorial board member. After 2 years, associate editor. After 2 years, editor-in-chief. So failure, mistake does not define your destiny. Even though you are not a professor, you don't have your doctor title yet, it does not stop you from doing what I suggested earlier. Okay, you can do it, you can try tonight. Write an email to any Q2, Q3, Q4, start from somewhere lower, then slowly move your way up. Because again, this is a process where you will learn, you will do more progressively, and before long, you with your learning, with your value, you can make a bigger impact on the people around you. With that, thank you so much. What time is it now? Oh, 10:30.
Okay, now we will proceed to the Q&A session for everyone of you who has the question. You may raise your hand. And for those who joining us online, you can write in the chat box to submit your question. Okay, is there any question? Come on, ask question. You know what I'm saying? Always ask question. Try to be more curious because that you develop your critical thinking, right, sir?
Correct.
Okay, any question? Okay, please. Don't forget to mention your name and your institution.
Collector of Management Department. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm not student here, but my question is about how you manage your time and you still have time to review so many things, doing so many jobs. And yeah, this is really good question. How do you manage it?
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay. This is a question I also frequently get. It's challenging to manage time. Therefore, while I learn to manage time, I learn more how to manage my priorities. Something which I discussed briefly about importance, urgencies, and significance. There are things which are important. There are things which are more urgent. There are things which are more significant because it creates more value. And because of that, I also learned to work with many people. I have, as I said, different teams to work with. So when I'm here, my team members are working. Example, I have a few journals. Every journal has different editorial team. So if I have to review all papers, definitely I will not be here in Jogja. I will stay in my room reviewing papers every day, all day, all night. But I work with many like-minded people. They are hardworking. They are willing to learn. They see this as an opportunity. In return, when they do all this, I can spare time to do something else. So, developing teams, building teams, working as teams, and also, as I mentioned, manage priorities. So things that I wanted to do, I could not do, someone else in the team does it on my behalf or with me. So that makes everything easier. Now, I know, Ibu, this sounds very theoretical, but this is exactly what I'm going through at the moment. So think about building and working as teams. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I think delegation is also important. Yeah, we cannot do everything all alone, but by ourselves. We need a teamwork. We need the ecosystem, as Professor Kiran said. Okay, is there any question? Another question?
Let's go. Oh, okay. Please state your name and institution.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the amazing presentation from Professor. I am Asef, came from Public Policy and Management Master degree, the one who accompanied you a couple of days ago.
Yes, yes, I know.
Yeah, maybe this is a classic questions that I have in my mind about our uh, public policy department and how to address when we have the distance between myself with the empirical, empirical space that when I have to research about public policy, I think I should see the interactions between the policymakers there in the ministry or in the how the presidential office or anything like that. But I'm just ordinary person. I'm just studying in the campus. But maybe the solution is you should read lots of literature who discuss about this. And that's the second question. My first question is how to address that distance. And second one, how to improve our reading skills. I think that's my classic questions. Because I think in this age of AI, we have not only ChatGPT. I found Notebook LLM from Gemini AI, and that can digest all the essence of the literature. And I get, wow, this is so instant. It's like a miracle. I don't have to read all those literature and how to get ourselves bounced back to have more improved reading skills and focus attention maybe to the reading skills that I think like that. Thank you for the occasion. Thank you so much.
Well, your second question requires another seminar. But let me just respond. Again, partly related to the first question. I developed a platform, an academy. I told Ibu Ayu yesterday. It's called Sierra, Southeast Asia Research Academy. I wanted to do this in 2015 because Facebook memory reminds me. But I could not. How could I create a platform to bring together researchers in Southeast Asia? They have their own agenda. Me, nobody. I'm not from any international organizations. But when COVID-19 happened, even though it was a crisis, for me, it was an opportunity. Many universities, many agencies still took their sweet time thinking how to react, what to do. I decided to purchase Zoom immediately, and I conducted online workshop. When I conducted online workshop in March, April, May in 2020, many people joined because they did not do anything at home. Researchers, PhD students from Indonesia, Cambodia, Myanmar, everywhere. Then I found a few participants who were regulars because they always ask questions in my Zoom meeting from Indonesia, from Cambodia, from other places. That is where I told them, why not we create a platform called Sierra, where we can bring all these scholars, young people together. Okay, we started in 2020 August, and it is still ongoing today. Last night, batch number 15, session number 2, online, 7 to 8:30 every Wednesday. Okay. One day, during a session, I came to know that this person from Cambodia works in the Ministry of Youth, Cambodia. And that's good because he's interested in doing research. And the conference that I introduced, I promoted just now, we started in 2021, fully online because of COVID-19. 2022, I wanted to invite Asia Pacific Director from UNWTO, United Nations Tourism. But how can I invite someone there? The distance, I'm not in the United Nations, I'm not in the ministry, no way. Then I remember, oh, I have a member from Cambodia. He might know someone. So I asked him. He said yes, he knows someone because he was a keynote speaker before. He seems like a very friendly person. So he gave me his contact. Okay. So I want to cut the story short. I contacted him through email. It was very official because he was director for the whole Asia Pacific. Then he added me on LinkedIn to my surprise. Okay, so on LinkedIn, we began to communicate like friends, but email very formal. Okay, I invited him to our conference in Sarawak. Again, I have to cut the story short. He accepted, he came. At the airport, I received him. I brought him for supper. During supper, he told me, Hiram, do you know that we have no obligation to accept your invitation from UN Tourism? Then he explained, this is because your invitation comes from an NGO. Your invitation comes from Sarawak. You have to do it through country. United Nations Tourism, it has to be done through country. But what happened is, when they presented this in the committee meeting, they did some background check on me. And they realized that what I'm doing is not only in Sarawak, but also in Southeast Asia. So they made this an exceptional case. They asked this director, would you be willing to go? He said yes. As a result, it did not follow any protocol. They accepted the invitation from an NGO. He came, the rest is history. Now I become affiliate member of United Nations Tourism. Just 3 months ago, UAE organized a conference supported by Crown Prince. They wanted someone from Southeast Asia. UN Tourism recommended me to go. And because this is a conference supported by Crown Prince, my flight, my accommodation, A380, business class, everything covered. So it has to start somewhere. I cannot answer your question, but I hope I give you an example to see how you strategize your next move. Like a chess, how you position your, what do you call this? All these pieces, you don't attack immediately. You position with strategies. It may not happen on day one, but it will slowly happen. Not an answer, but I hope it gives you some idea how you strategize yourself. It is possible that one day you may be invited to join parliamentary meeting, diplomatic, bilateral discussions where you can observe. How, I don't know. If I were you, and if I think this is important, I would definitely think of some innovation to do it. Second question, how to read? I think you just have to read more. Read more, and then that will require more discussions, because the main issue I find is the habit of reading and writing. The habit of reading and writing. AI, wonderful, but be careful, it replaces your habit. It replaces your habit to do all the fundamental things. If you keep your habit, if you keep your skill, AI will do more for you. But don't let AI replace your role. Yes, you take advantage of AI, but you also surrender your role as researcher. That is not a good thing. Okay, so I hope that helps. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any question also from the online participant? Kindly the committee assist me. Please check it.
Same goes to empirical data from the community and for children, people with disabilities. You just have to be more innovative. Why? Let me just give you a quick example before the next question. No, from Vietnam. Okay. All right. I know how to interview. I know how to collect data, but I need to collect data from children on how they treat their food when they cannot finish. Food disposal. But I must understand the context, the characteristics. Even though I know how to interview, if I interview children and they see me like this, they will not be frank with me. I have the skill, I have the knowledge, but I am not the right person to do interview. Okay? Okay, still good now. So I train my undergrad student, a female, to do interview. Because to collect empirical data effectively from them, I know that I'm not the right person. I get a female student to do it. Why? Because when she does interview, she put on Mickey Mouse shirt and whatever, and she talk about anything, everything, slowly, gradually. Hey, what happened when you did not finish your food? Did you throw away? Be honest. Then they will communicate as friends. If I put on Mickey Mouse shirt, I feel awkward, and then the children look at me. This uncle has something wrong. It just doesn't right. Again, simple example, you need to strategize. You can still get the job done if you force the student to tell you, but you will not collect valid data. Again, it requires thinking, positioning, how to do it in a more meaningful way. Okay, just another side of the story. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I will read one question from the online. Hello, Professor. I'm Mengajit Asri from Doctoral Program of Humanities, study majoring in linguistics. I'm going to conduct my research on tourism industry, especially hotel. I want to develop English for front office authentic materials and assessment. In your point of view, as an expert of tourism, what kind of approach that is appropriate for developing it?
Okay, I hope I understand the question. I understood correctly. First and foremost, I'm not a tourism expert. I enjoy doing tourism research. I'm still learning, relearning every day, every week. But based on my experience, again, if I understood the questions correctly, two things which I mentioned earlier. Number one, if this is a research, if you aim to publish your papers, then you have to look at literature. What has been said, what has been done, because scientific research is about building upon what has been done, making contribution to the body of knowledge. Yes, you contribute something, but at the same time, you also provide platform for more future investigations. So you add knowledge to the body of, you extend the body of knowledge. At the same time, you stimulate more discussions. So literature is a must. Then secondly, as I said earlier, it's important to go to the real world and talk to hotel, front office, to realize what is the actual situations. What is the actual situation? So you need to be able to complement literature with what is happening in the real world. What you read will help you to design things. When you realize what is happening in the real world, it will help you to again look for more relevant literature. It goes back and forth until you become very clear what is the area that you will design, formulate your research problem, and that will become the direction of your research. So in a very general way, literature as well as on the ground, talk to the relevant stakeholders in order to make informed decision, especially when you want to deal with. This is another one. Oh, this is
next
okay.
question, maybe.
Early on, when you talk about measurement, for example, there might be some established scale. If there is, you can adopt, you can adapt. If there isn't, do you want to develop new measurement? Again, I don't have an answer for you. You still have to go to literature because it is a scientific research. Then talk to the practitioners, people on the ground. That's why, again, don't rush your research. Do some pilot study. Do some preliminary study before you decide how you design your research. Okay, so I hope that helps.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Hiram. Okay, because due to the time, we will limit 3 more questions again. Okay, 2 questions here from the room to all of the offline participant and 1 question from online participant. Okay, we'll start from the offline participant. Is there any question? You may raise your hand. Okay. Please wait, the microphone will pass by. Please mention your name and institution and major ya.
Aku izin Prof, saya mau ada pengamatan penelitian, so I'm back home to laboratory.
Sure.
Oh.
Okay. See you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, please, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I remember some of your names.
I thought he will be asked the question. Okay, behind, please. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's wait for the microphone.
Thank you for the opportunity. Please.
I can hear you.
Going to the third semester of PhD in environmental science.
Wow.
I
It's
am-
enough for you.
So I am curious about your statement that we are need to take our time, our research, rush to our research, but we are often come to the institution deadline, like we are have scholarship that we have to
Yeah.
finish this year and on.
Yeah.
How we can be mindful in our doing, in our research journey and application, since when we have like 70 kind of collect more data and we should make the deadline collected and make the deadline is achieved. In your opinion, in your perspective, want to understand this.
Okay, thank you. Now, when I say you don't rush, it is mainly because something which I said at the beginning of my presentation. Some people have this perception and notion that if you finish earlier, you are better than the others. Okay, I don't know about Indonesia, but in Malaysia, we have this initiative called GOT, Graduate on Time. And if you graduate on time, if you graduate earlier, you will be given reward, you will be given incentives. It is a good initiative. Unfortunately, it is abused, it is manipulated. So it doesn't mean you must do it fast, you must do it quick. It simply means that you don't have to compete with others. Don't rush to compete, because if you need more time to learn, then make sure you learn. If you have deadline, then you have no choice. You have to beat deadlines. Okay, so that is what I meant. Don't rush. It doesn't mean you take 20 years to finish. No, you still have to meet your deadlines. You still have to be responsible, professional. But there's no need to compare. with others. Okay, so I hope this is for the first question. For your second question, now, I don't have enough context information from you to give you an answer. I can only respond in principle how it is done. I receive emails many times from students. They want me to validate their framework. They want me to provide advice on something. Many times I did not reply and give answer. Instead, I tell them, set up a Zoom meeting. So I create more problem for myself. Because I can reply your email by telling you what the answers are based on my understanding. It might not help you, but through Zoom meeting, I'll be able to know more. What is the actual situation? So in your view, what is the challenges of collecting empirical data? There are studies where population is hard to get. You don't have a big sample, you have a small sample. There are situations where you don't have access to primary data, up-to-date data. There are situations where you need permission. Permission letter will only come 6 months later. So that's why I do not know what is the actual situation. In this, if you are in one of these situations, my response in principle is similar to my response to what I said just now. You have to be more innovative. Talk to other researchers. Maybe in conference like this, yesterday, don't present from A to Z. Just present what your paper is about and present what are the challenges you are facing in order to get answers from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Then you can utilize these resources and get ideas from other people. So these are the things that you can look into. Also, look at those experts in your field in environmental science. Those editors, those who publish good papers in good journals, email them. No harm trying. If they don't reply, no harm trying. Ask in a polite way. You really learn a lot from this paper, this or her paper. You are wondering, in this situation where it is difficult to collect empirical data, what can be done? What could I do? Don't be surprised. They may reply, and they may also send you their paper how to address all these issues. Not only it solves your problem, now you have more friends from UK, from Australia. So I don't know whether I answer your question, but in principle, you have to think innovatively because in research, there are so many ways to do things. And this is also an advice to all of you. Don't rely on textbook. Textbook does not tell you enough. You have to read journal articles. Don't rely on information generated by AI. It may not tell you the latest, the most advanced technique in dealing with this sophisticated situation. Identify who are the experts in your field, which are the top journals in your field. Read the editorials written by editors. Email them if you don't mind being ignored, being rejected. Don't be surprised again. You will learn a lot. Not only solve your problem, you actually learn more in the process. I hope it helps.
Okay,
Thank
thank you so much, Professor Hiran. Last question from offline, yeah? Please, you may raise your hand. Okay, maybe we're waiting for the other question. Oh, okay. The mic, please,
Secondary, let me answer this immediately. Secondary data would be considered eligible high impact Q1? The answer is yes. Conducting a quantitative analysis using government survey data, triangulating it with content analysis, a relevant policy document, rather than rely on primary keyword. Okay, the general answer is yes. Why? Because if you remember what I said earlier, this question is secondary. It is important, but it is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the novelty, the originality of your research. Okay, using what method? If it is appropriate, there is no issue, and you justify enough, there is no issue. If there's any issue, you get question for minor revision. You should celebrate already. The main thing is the novelty, the originality of your research. If it is not appropriate, we will still read your paper out of professionalism, but we always decide that your direction is already wrong. Same with any social science studies, marketing and everything. We don't trust your finding. We don't trust your discussion unless your design is correct. As a marketer, without doing research, I can also write discussion. Now with AI, we can write discussion. This is why I read many papers. I look at the discussion. I look at their recommendation. Wonderfully written, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. It will not work in the real world. It will not work. But if the design is correct, the methods, the process is rigorous, then your findings and discussions are credible. Okay, so I hope, again, I did not answer this question directly. The answer is yes. But what matters more is your introduction. If there's anything with literature, too much A, less B, then you should tap your head. This is minor revision, just put a bit of addition, then you're okay. If the question is, your theory is wrong, your research problem is unclear, it doesn't matter, secondary or primary data, it's already, your paper is already in trouble. Okay? This is also why when I say don't rush, you need to spend good amount of time thinking how you formulate your research problem and your research questions. Think about scientific research again. Curiosity again. Is coming up with the right question more important or coming up with the right solution more important? Think about scientific research. Think about Albert Einstein. Think about Edison Thomas. Question more important or solution more important? Okay, you can say this is a rubbish question. Of course, both are important. But from scientific point of view, coming up with the right question is the real advancement of science because it will lead to the right solutions. Many times we are too obsessed with sophisticated methods, bombastic words, grand conclusion, recommendation, as if you will save the whole world. No, we will go to your chapter 1. If we don't trust your research problem, if there's no gap, there's no credible problem, that's why many people can finish PhD, they may not be able to publish in Q1 journal because they have not learned enough how to articulate your research problems in less words in a clear and concise manner. Again, it requires skills. It's good that you make mistake, you fail earlier, so that you learn all this by heart. Then things will become much easier later. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor Hiram. Next to the last question.
Okay, thank you for the time. Maybe my question is the same question. But
Sorry, don't forget your name and your major.
thank you for the ordinary and knowledge and experience with us. So my name is Bayu Nakyab. I'm a PhD student in KM Physics study program.
Physics.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, bro. Okay. Maybe this question is classic question, but this is our concern. How can we know well whether our writing on the article has met the minimum requirements? Our article can be accepted in a reputable international journal. Also, every journal has its own standard, but in general, how do we know that it was meet the minimum requirements to be accepted based our article has novelty and originality? Please give me us the best tips, Prof, from the point of view of the reputable journal editor, of course, and because usually or often we don't have confidence,
Yeah, yeah.
to submit. Moreover, Prof said early that 19%, yeah, of 19%, or 90% of the article that come in are usually rejected.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have concern. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you for the question. I hope I impressed you enough that the examples that I give is not something conceptual, because you can always go to YouTube, find videos conducted by someone in US, UK better than me to learn about publication tips, publication strategies. You can also use ChatGPT, publication strategies, publication tips. You will get all this information from all these resources. I hope that from my presentation, you can identify yourself from my experience that I learned all this by mistakes, by failures. If I can do it, all of you can do it. The reason I say this, but is because I cannot tell you for sure what is the formula for success. I can only tell you, based on my experience, what can be done even though you are a master and a PhD student. You don't need to become a professor to do it. And that is, and therefore I repeat, not a problem. Identify the journals in your field. Download some papers of those journals. Read those papers repeatedly. After 30 minutes, you finish reading. Read again 5 days later. You finish in 20 minutes. After 3 days, read again. After 1 day, read again. After 1 week, read again. After 3 days, read again. Why? You read these papers not because you want to cite them. You read this paper because you want to learn from the skill of these authors, how they write their papers, how they justify, how they argue, how they compare, how they describe. You read the paper so many times, 3 months later, you spend 5 minutes, you finish reading. Why? After reading the first sentence, you already know what is in the next sentence. Directly, indirectly, you learn the skill from these authors. As a result, spontaneously, organically, when you speak, when you write, all these words will come out. Okay? So identify Q2, Q1 journal in your field. Download one paper. After 3 months, download another paper. Good paper. Read again. After 2 months, download another article. Many of my juniors, including myself, English is not our first language. But by doing this, they pick up all these impressive, simple, yet very effective words. As a result, it improves their writing. Like I said earlier, your story, your content must already be good. But many times, our writing, our justification does not do justice to us. Okay, if we pass our paper to someone in Australia, he or she could use less words, but they can explain better. Because English is their first language, they also train to think critically. But again, this is something that you don't need another workshop. Okay, if UKM invites me to conduct workshop, they give me honorarium, thank you very much, but I will be honest to you, my workshop will not help you anymore. Okay, you can actually do it by what I said earlier. Number two, what I said earlier as well, learn to review paper. How do you know your paper is up to Q3, Q2, Q1 standard? You review Q3, Q2, Q1 journal. Write an email to the editor. You are not asking him to appoint you as editorial board member. You are only asking him to invite you as an ad hoc reviewer. Usually editors will like it. Why? Because every paper will be assigned to multiple reviewers. No harm, assign you as the top reviewer to review the paper and see how good you are. So by doing that, you will gradually know, you benchmark yourself against international standard where you are. If you read this paper, you don't understand everything, then you know you have a lot to learn. Okay, review. Again, you read, you learn how to review, you learn how to provide comments, you will improve. One day, like I said earlier, when you review this paper, if this paper can be published, I think I can do something as good. Then you know that you are already at that level, targeting journal at that level. Okay. So number one, download, read papers. You read them repeatedly, not because you want to cite them, you want to absorb all the skills from the authors, they become yours. Number two, review, because you will learn how to review, how to comment, and you would know whether your next paper is ready for Q2 or Q1. Of course, number three, another thing is no harm trying. Invite someone who has published in Q1, Q2 journal as co-author. Okay, the managing editor that I told you just now, Ibu Lenny from Jakarta, she gave me her first and second papers. Of course, now I don't have time to. She gave a paper to me. I use comment and track to revise the whole paper, everything in red. And for her, I appreciate her attitude because she did not feel upset because of this. She appreciated that I spend time using track. Then she learns how to improve. And now she gets better and better. So number three, you can always invite someone who has experience in publishing Q1, Q2 journals in your field to work with them. You come up with the draft. You don't ask him to do everything, because if you do that, he will tell you no time. So you come up with everything so that he feels rewarded working with you. And this is something I did in my early career. I invited someone from Australia to work with. He rejected me for the first time. The second time, third time, we worked together. I cut the story short. Now we become good friends. Because when he worked together with me, he improves my storyline. Because Australian, they are very sharp. Number two, I save my money because I don't have to send to proofreader. As a Caucasian, his English is good, and then we publish A rank journal. Because for Australia they need a SSCI Scopus Q1 as well. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. It doesn't need, you don't need doctor title to do it. You can do it today, tomorrow. Okay, I hope it helps.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much, Professor Hiram.
I don't think if you type this question in ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, it will come up with these answers. Again, these are things that I learned from experience. Again, I am aware that your background, your journeys are different. That's why I hope that this is relevant to you. If still not relevant, again, just go to YouTube, type some keyword, you will learn something from white hair, white skin, you know, so you can learn more from them. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Hiram. So we are come to an end. Again, Professor Hiram, would you like to share with us a brief closing statement or final message as this is?
Yeah, my closing statement, thank you for that, Ibu, because that is really helpful. Even though my schedule is tight, I'm always open to students, friends who are committed to learning. So feel free to add me on Instagram, on Facebook, through email or WhatsApp, WeChat, Line, Kakao Talk, because all my friends then identify low-hanging fruits. Even though I explained a lot about this ecosystem, I hope it should inspire you rather than complicating you. Start from something low-hanging, because if you work with people who share same values, one thing will lead to another. Answers which I cannot explain to you today, hopefully by experience, you will see for yourself how you develop your network, how you expand your influence, how you can do many things at the same time without compromising your professional focus, your expertise. So I'm open to more communication, more conversation. Just let me know that you are from UKM. If we take a photo later, send me photo so I remember you. Who knows? Again, like what I told you earlier, one day I might be doing something and you might be the best person who help me. And because of our ongoing conversation, consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously, I ask the question and you help me, and this is already the greatest reward in a very unexpected, wonderful way. So I believe paying forward, I believe friendship, I believe we can create values together. So one day, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years later, when I visit Indonesia again, who knows? I enjoy so many things because of your hospitality. Like yesterday, I met people in Tan, is it? From Taman Mini. Yeah? If I went there last year, I went there as a stranger, I went there as another visitor. But now, if I go there one day, she told me I will go there as VIP. So you know, things work out in a wonderful way. So be open. I'm open. So keep in touch if you need any help. If I can't help you, I will always recommend others who can help you. So that is my belief. Thank you.
Thank you so much for becoming out. Well, I don't know, there's a lot of kind of incredibly significant discussion and a lot of pieces of advice from you, but I also want to share and maybe challenge all of the participants, both offline and online. Here's the thing that I usually do to make a progress and do not trust, maybe. Okay, so I think I'd like also to share my practical habit that I usually do to make a progress. So after the seminar, I encourage you all, maybe after you back at home or writing in your boarding pass or your calls, please take a few time to reflect and write 3 things. Here's what I always do. What, so what, and the what. That's I always do every time I learn something new. What did I learn? So what? Why is this important? How this knowledge will help me grow? How I can make the contribution and make positive impact. That's what I've just learned. And then now what? Now what is concrete step that you will take? So learning only won't lead you to the progress, but the action will. So that's all for me. Okay, I hope you tried.
Any good photo, all of them?
Yeah, please, we will have a group photo again before the, yeah. Let's take a picture, do it.
Oh, just up or
No?
later?
Yeah. Yeah. Picture with the.
We are quite spread out, so I wonder, maybe, or maybe after that, then we can oh, yeah, then we can stay closer.
Okay, so so now this is the end, Prof. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone, please thank me, our distinguished speaker, Professor Hiram. Let's take a picture together. Okay, now before that, I will hand over to MC to continue the next agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have reached the end of today's seminar international. On behalf of the organizing committee, we sincerely thanks to our keynote speaker, moderator, and all participants for being able to attending this important event. We hope that the insight we share today will inspire and empower us to produce impactful research globally recognized that begins with local relevance. Please accept our apologies for any shortcoming during the event, and please do not leave your personal belongings in this auditorium. Once again, thank you so much and have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Maybe we can take a picture together, Professor. Okay. Please, all of the participants. Okay, please, all of the participants move forward here.
Can I find the song from YouTube? The full song number 2 and number 3, very nice. I can get I love listening to music. Right. The second one is all the harmony. I like berapa cuma di belakang sama itu pada sini rapi-rapi. Ayo di belakang di sini. Bisa di sini Mas Mbak, saya kan kok.
Mungkin yang sebelah sini bisa mengisi baris yang kedua. Insya Allah masih tetap kelihatan kok dari atas.
Tunggu, Mbak. Biar di tempat.
Oke, mohon arahannya fotografer kelihatan semua nggak?
Di sebelah kiri. Kiri.
Kelihatan semua nggak, mas fotografer? Mohon arahannya, mas.
Aku kurang ke sini.
Kelihatan semua, mas. Aman nggak, mas? Aman, mas. Kelihatan semua ya? Mas, minta tolong dihitung dong, mas.
Also. Satu, dua. Kalau udah.
Pegel. Oh, it's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, for the one who asked the question, please remain in the room because actually the committee has prepared a special gift for you.
Kayaknya masih lama. Iya,
Okay, for
mereka jalan di mas. Borong sama mereka aja ya. Hah? Oh, aku apa? Dari apa? Dia